What it is, what it ain't, what it do, what it don't. Welcome back, episode Ocho.
See?
That's right, Doodads Podcast. Find us at the Doodads Podcast YouTube channel. Go ahead, subscribe, hit the link, hit the button, hit the ding. Find us on TikTok, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram. While we're at it, we've partnered with Dad Gang. Check out Brandon's dome. Dad Gang Company. They make hats, beanies. Pretty nifty right there.
Pretty sweet headwear.
Yeah, when you go ahead and when you're checking out with your cart, hit the promo code area and put in Doodads 14721. That's DODADS 14721. Get you 10% off and tell everybody about Doodads. So, it's a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, I would ask you how your weekend was, but I was with you.
Yeah, we went on a little retreat, man. That was good stuff.
Came back under the weather a little bit.
No, I mean, I'm not feeling the best. I think the old daughter came back with a little something from school, and I kind of had a pre-incubation and brought it with me that weekend. I was doing good, but then Saturday night I smoked a couple cigars, like back to back, out till 1 in the morning.
That'll do it to you old folks.
So, anyways, no, it was a good weekend. Came home, was glad to see the wife and the kiddos. But I do know that for a minute here, I, as well as some other people, have been patiently awaiting. Maybe you want to give a little background and maybe tell all our 182 subscribers.
Yeah. So, there's been a secret here on the set of the Doodads Podcast since we started. My lovely wife, Jamie, is and has been pregnant with our second child.
Hi-yo!
Something happened. I sneezed. She peed on a stick. And now we have a second child on the way. It's been very difficult. I feel very relieved getting that out because there have been moments where I've almost slipped and felt like I wanted to say something. So I'm saying something now. The reason that I'm saying something now is because we also now know the gender of this second child.
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's go. Go.
There's a peanut gallery here.
Let's go.
So she took her blood test last Monday to do the genetic testing and the gender testing and everything like that. And so being gone over the weekend, we were like, oh my God, what if the results come in and I'm gone or da-da-da-da-da. None of that happened. And the results came back Monday. Most importantly than anything, all of the genetic testing came back negative. Baby looks great. Baby looks healthy. And as everyone knows, I've got a little girl. And in October of this year, I will be having a little boy, baby.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, shooter! Let's go, shooter!
Dude.
Yes.
I am
Let's go.
so excited.
I know. And look, like so that people understand, okay? As a 39-year-old, when he had his son, I had a stepdaughter who I love dearly and all that. But at that age, I was sitting there going like, will this kid be healthy? And that's all I cared about, right? Like, that's all you care about. But dude, it's like a weird, like, you're all about, like, look, Kobe, the whole girl dad thing, like, for sure. But if you're a dude and you're sitting there walking around going like, man, I don't, I don't ever want a son.
Dude, well, and like, I'll tell you this, I 100%, I love being a girl dad, and I think that I'm cut out for being a girl dad as like, look, dude, my body's pumped full of testosterone. I love sports, American football. I love greasy burgers, dude. I love everything. I love Saturdays in the grass. I like man stuff. but I don't mind getting my toes painted. I don't mind playing Pretty Pretty Unicorn. You know, I will rock out to Since You've Been Gone in my truck. I will do all of the princess things, but like, dude, I'm so stoked that the bloodline continues and the name lives on. The King in the South, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
The House Robinson lives. And yeah, so that's that. We've already picked out a name. I think the cool part is this is going to come out next week. So this weekend we're telling family members. So by the time this comes out, they'll already know. And
but in a time warp, I knew before you did.
yeah, you sure did.
The multiverse of madness.
That's crazy. That's true though. But you know, at first Jamie was a little bit bummed out, and you know, I think she feels. I don't want to speak for her. She'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she feels a sense of like a little bit of intimidation by having to raise a boy. I think she also, I don't think she gives herself enough credit for what she's capable of doing as a mom. She also made the joke the other day. She was like, I should have known it was a little boy. This MFer's toughening me up already. I've had a broken foot for 6 weeks of his pregnancy. You know, like I should have known, you know, but, you know, and then like the idea of Julia having a baby sister and 2 little girls. But like, one, obviously, I'm pumped to have that little, you know, and but also what I'm excited about too is Julia gets to remain the princess of the family. You know, like
Absolutely.
she gets to stay the little queen, the little princess, the little spoiled thing that she is.
And that was a big thing, I think, like with Aubrey, that I was so intentional about, especially because in our dynamic, she's my stepdaughter, you know, in a sense. And it was like, I don't want you to feel lost. I don't want you to feel like, oh, you know, you're the old, you know, raggedy doll that we're putting away. Like, nah, dude, like you still get the coolest job in the world. You get to be the little girl.
Yeah.
You get to have like, it's so funny because I more want you to have a good time than I'm more concerned with me. I think it's because my birthday was like December 20th and I was always competing with baby Jesus. And I was just like...
Tough competition.
People were always either, you know, we were out of school or kids were like with their, like really out of town. Like, so it was just usually me and like maybe some kid from the neighborhood. But, you know, I kind of... Like the last couple of years, it's been like, all right, like when she turned 13, it was cool because she was a teen. But like, I'm all jazzed up because... Sweet 16, bro.
Yeah.
We're less than a year away, and it's like, you know, Julia will still have all that, and it's like sure. I wanted to make sure Aubrey understood that, like, he's the prince, but bro, like, you're the princess.
100%. And like, I mean, and I think,
and she's got something with Courtney that I'll, you know, like,
yeah. Well, and what's funny is like I can speak to it being a boy. That's what I am. I'm a mama's boy. There's a mama-son connection that doesn't exist. And like Julia's only a toddler and her and Jamie will do this frequently already. And so like
they will again.
It's only going to amplify over time. And so like, you know, and I think I'm grateful to, you know, I don't know if we're going to stop. I don't know if we're going to keep going. I know we're going to keep practicing. Whether one sticks or not is up to God. But, you know, like only one wedding is cool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to for sure. And then also like I think about, man, if it was a girl, then I would have definitely wanted to try for another boy. And then I would have ended up with 3 girls instead. And it's all perfectly planned out and designed how it should be. I was actually just telling somebody yesterday that it's not by mistake that I had a girl first, because it taught me a lot about patience and, you know, some of that gentle parenting type stuff that we've talked about in the past, and like learning a little bit more about how I want to parent and what kind of dad I want to be. And I think if I had had a little boy first, that I wouldn't have had the, not that I'm super mature, but like the level of emotional maturity that I have now after being with Julia a couple of years, to where like, you know, all of the strict, militant, all of that stuff, like, is going to want to come out. But thankfully, I'll have some experience at this point to, like, be able to regulate that a little bit and use it when necessary and not, and learn more. You know, hopefully, I'm maybe talking out of my ass here because I don't know yet. But
I don't know, man.
I'm pumped, dude.
I mean, like I say, Aubrey raised me.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a lot of emotional maturation that took place because of her.
Sure.
There was a lot of trying to figure this out, and again, the tightrope of being a step parent. Like, where am I like not being what she needs me to be, and trying too hard to be what she doesn't need me to be? You know, but like it prepared me because with Ben, like. I remember all the jokes that were made about Tom Brady kissing his kids and like kissing his dad and all that, and all the like and dude, I kiss Ben right on the lips. I love him. I I just come here, bro.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that last night we didn't also like do WWE and I like suplexed him and power bombed him half the night.
Right.
Because he's like, Dad, want to whistle? You know, I'm like, let's go, bro. I've been waiting for this. You know, I've waited 39 years for you, man.
Right.
But like, it gives me that ability when, like last week, when I'm frustrated about the grits on the bed, and I start to get frustrated, and I grab him, and I'm like, no. And I see him well up. I don't know if Aubrey hadn't have been around, if some of that old school, like, what I was always, like, it's not that bad,
Toughen up.
Yeah, right. Like, nah, dude, I saw him do that, and I was like, I don't ever want to see me and my kids cry.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and on that note, so it's funny, we went back and forth with a name, and the two we went back and forth with were Baylor. The middle name is going to be James after Jamie's dad. Baylor James or Brady James, because I have this undiagnosed OCD where now that both of the girls in my family are J names, the boys have to be B names. And so...
I thought it was just because you really like LSU football.
No, but...
You don't?
I mean, I do, but that wasn't why. Because I also think about
Shout out Brady James.
I think about that's going to be my son's name. Brady James Robinson. Now batting, number 21. Brady Robinson.
Robinson.
Swing and a miss, strike one.
Number 21 in your program, number 1 in your heart.
Damn it. Keep your damn head down, boy.
Yeah. You know how much therapy costs? No, I'm just playing.
I have VA health insurance, so free.
Ooh.
But I forget what I was.
It doesn't matter, dude.
Saying, I'm pumped.
I'm pumped. I didn't want to like swing and a miss. I didn't want to be like, it's a boy. But I knew it. I knew it. I had a feeling in my plums. I did. That's what's up, dude. I'm so happy for you. I knew it, man. Thank you. We're excited. And more like y'all went through it too. Just the experience of what happened last year and now going through this again, like, she's right at coming up on 12 weeks and everything is looking great. The ultrasound last week before we went on the retreat, heartbeat looked great, size looked, everything looked. How old is Jamie? She's 30. Oh. Yeah. 30. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Courtney was 37. So the biggest problem she had was Ben was 2 weeks early just because of gestational diabetes. Yeah, and she had that with Julia, and the due date is October 14th, but it'll be a little bit earlier than that just because, her doctor has suggested that because of the C-section the first time and just, not wanting to push it and do too much to her body. And I'm telling you, that second one, it literally is like an oil change. If you go back with the C-section. Wait, I was talking to Michael about that the other day, and he was like, dude, it was like an eye doctor appointment. Dude, it's so wild. In and out. Your boy just walked in. He's like, who's ready to have a baby? Boom, there's the baby. He's like, all right, y'all have a good night. He just took off. I'm like, that's it, huh? That quick. I mean, that's, I'm pumped, man. I really am. I'm happy for us. I'm happy for, because Julia's the first grandbaby. She's the only girl. And so there's like this, my family wanted a boy. They didn't want Julia to have any competition. Like, how could we ever love another girl the way we love this little girl, and so. I want to, also maybe widening the circle a bit, I'm excited for, I'm excited for Tevin, and I'm excited for Ken, and I'm excited for Frank, and you have this really
Steven,
cool
Michael.
experience of your friends all like having some boys, having some girls, whatever. But like y'all all have these kids within a couple of years of each other, and they get to grow up. And that's really cool.
It is. So on every other Tuesday, Steven comes over and brings Chandler, and Jamie watches her, and like after coming home this weekend on Sunday, Julia was so excited to Daddy, blah, blah, blah. She wanted to cuddle in my chair. These are not regular occurrences for the most part. Like she's but I was gone for 48 hours, and so she was pumped when I got back. And like it's just Steven brings Chandler over, and she does the same thing. She comes running with her arms up, and I pick her up and give her a big old hug, and Brielle like will see me at soccer practice. It's just it is, dude. And it's funny. I was talking to one of my mom's best friends yesterday on the phone, and we were just talking about how it takes a village, and I was just telling her like I'm so grateful for my village, and all of the little shithead Indians that we have running around causing a ruckus between the ages of 0 and 4.
But it's so solid, man.
It is.
Kind of talked about that this weekend. Like I said, like you get wrapped up in the worldly clamors, so to speak, and then the kid comes running in doing something ridiculous like a frying pan on their head, and you're just like, what am I tripping about?
Yeah, what am I? Why am I so concerned? Yeah, it.
And that's also the way you're talking about like. Knowing and that announcement, that experience, like that feeling, I think that's kind of also the thing that I tend to try to remember whenever I get frustrated with Ben. Is like, dude, do you remember being in the car and Courtney calling you and going, so I got the results, do you want to know? And me being like, yeah, because I didn't get to go until the last 2 ultrasounds because of COVID,
right.
And it's like, I was like, yeah, I want to know.
Yeah.
And she's like, everything's healthy. And I was like, solid. You
right.
want to know what the gender is? I was like, yeah. And she said a boy. And I was just like,
because I remember Sunday night before we went to bed, Jamie was like, what if I get the results? Like I was slap busy yesterday, inspections all day, all over the place. There was no real free time. So it seemed, and she was like, what if I get the results? Like, am I going to have to wait till tomorrow evening when we get home? And I was like, well, yeah, yes, you are. And so she called me. I was finishing up my first inspection, or I was in the middle of it or something, and she called, and she was like, the results came back, or I had a missed call. It was from the nurse. They said that everything came back, and I can't pull it up on the portal.
It's got a third arm.
And all this kind of stuff. It's got a third leg, but it's doing all this, whatever. And... set me up, but and so anyway, I was like, whatever, I'll finish this up. I'll have a little bit of time between inspections. So dude, I just hauled to her office, and we sat in my truck. She tried to pull her portal up. The portal wouldn't show the results. She tried to call the nurse number back, no answer. So she's close with her doctor's nurse, and so she texted her, and she was like, okay, I hate to be this patient, but like I need to know. She didn't text back. She was like, that's it, I'm calling her. So she called her, she answered, and she was a little like apprehensive. She was like, is everything okay? And she was like, yeah, but I want to know. And she was like, oh my God, okay, do you want me to tell you? We were sitting there, and this whole time she was like, y'all are having a boy, I want y'all to have a boy, da 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 da. She was like, I'm so excited for you, do you want to know why? Because you're having a stinky little boy. And I was like, yes. That's not that I love Julia any less. I want that to be clear. But shout out young Brady.
There's something I think what it is about like having a little boy though is that I think kids period are stinky. Kids period can be dirty. Kids period, but when you talk about like gender identification and how parents tend to just immediately kind of, you're a girl, you wear a dress, you're a girl, you wear pigtails, whatever. Like, girls slowly start to move towards this more of a clean, sanitary, whatever. And we, for some reason, just look at boys and we're like, there's a stick, there's some dirt, go.
Eat it.
And right, like,
And pretend like my 3-year-old doesn't fart like a trucker. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. That little girl,
I'm just,
category 5 wind coming out of her, every now. I mean,
This will be fun in 20 years.
oh man.
whatever, dude. Whatever, dude.
Like a trucker. Wow. God. That's man, I just, I'm so happy for you. Like, I really am.
Thank you, man.
I really am. Like, that's you know.
And little did we know at the start of all of this, we sat down and we were like, oh, you have a 3-year-old boy, I have a 3-year-old girl. Here we go.
And I remember when we went to your place after, I think maybe episode 1 or episode 2, and we sat outside and Kim was kind of showing us the reels and all that, and you were like, by the way, just so y'all know, we've kind of been wanting to be careful because of, the miscarriage or whatever, but it was like, we're like 6 or 7 weeks pregnant, and it's like, what?
It's wild. It was that long ago. Here we are, creeping up on El Segundo trimester.
Man, those months were wild, I'm just like reminiscing.
Well, so what was Courtney's pregnancy with Ben like? Like, how did that?
So, I just, I want to say that my wife is a fucking G. She works basically as for the most part as a dietitian. That's what she's going back to school for, and gonna get her master's when she finishes, so she can actually be a registered licensed dietitian. But where she works, she basically meal plans for about 60 people, and because she doesn't have the letters behind her name, there's some lady who's never there, but she's the rubber stamp on the paperwork. But Courtney does everything.
Right.
And so a lot of that also involves shopping. And so, like, she has gone from being like lunch lady 10 years ago to literally like, learning. And I'm not talking about like just peanut allergies. Someone comes in and she works at a drug rehab, right? So somebody comes in and they've been completely malnourished, and she has to look at like sugar levels and what's a healthy starch and what's a good fat and all that. And she builds these meal plans, and she no longer really cooks. I mean, she's got some women under her, but she would go shopping, and she would be at Sam's or Costco or whatever, and she was 37 weeks when Ben was born. So I want to say up until about 35 weeks, I was watching, like, I would go leave work to go meet her so she wasn't lifting, because we had miscarriage, and I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
And she's like picking up, the 40 pack of like green pea cans, right? And what are you doing? Well, she's like, oh, it's no big deal. The 100-pound bag of brown rice, and I'm like, oh man, and I watched her really just G through it. It was astounding. It probably wasn't until those last couple of weeks that she was just like real waddle life.
Yeah.
So sleeping was kind of weird, because I had never had a kid. So I wasn't real sure at what point when the bump really becomes a bump, when it's just so obvious. And I'm like, okay, should I put how do I, what makes you comfortable? I don't, and no complaint. She was good.
That's pretty. I was trying to think of like what time of year was she like big old pregnant, but I guess it was fall-ish.
There is a picture because remember it's COVID.
Yeah.
So we weren't really doing a lot.
Yeah.
We probably somewhere got pregnant around mid-March. That's late March. So you get to 6 months later, 7 months later, that's Halloween time. And that's about the time things opened up for the first time.
Yeah.
And so I remember us being at a friend's and they did like a bonfire. Well, it was at Suge's old place where Glenn and them live.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've ever been there. You've been?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, they got a place in the backyard. They can have like a little fire pit or whatever. And it was about 20 of us in a circle, somebody with a guitar, smoking cigars, hanging out, just trying to gather. And there's a picture of her, and she's wearing black tights, but she's got an orange shirt, and she looks like a pumpkin.
That's funny.
And yeah, I mean, and she's just prego. But she was smiling. Like, I just don't remember her ever really complaining. But thank God, yeah, it was her toughest months were, it was, 70 degrees and below.
Yeah. That with Julia, she was born in July.
Huh.
So, yeah. And now this one, it'd be, I mean, in the heat of the summer, she'll be
roughing it through August,
she'll be
July,
roughing it.
August, September.
But she, like, with Julia, there wasn't really, like, there wasn't a whole lot going on as far as, like, the symptoms that you hear about, I guess, as a woman, like the morning sickness and the this and the that. She had, like, some aches and whatnot. But I gotta tell this story, and I don't care if she gets mad at me because it's hilarious.
Don't do it, Jamie.
The way a woman's brain works. So, obviously a woman takes prenatal vitamins, and that causes their hair to grow thicker and their body hair to grow. So she says to me last night, or a couple nights ago, before we found out, she was like, she was in the bathtub and she was like, God, my feet are getting hairy. And I was like, okay, chalking it up to like the prenatals or whatever. Yesterday she says, I should have known it was a boy when I realized how hairy my feet were. And I was like, why does that equate? She was like, well, because there's testosterone, bless you. There's testosterone in my body now. And so that's probably making my feet hairy. And I was like, listen, I'm not an OB. I am not a biologist. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever that you have hairy feet because you're growing testicles in your stomach at the moment. I don't think that adds up. If anybody knows, comment below. Does being pregnant with a boy make your feet hairy? I'd love to hear your answers. But it was just hilarious. But she's been having like the nausea and she's having with Julia. It was Waffle House hash browns were her thing. Right now it's seafood, and so she's still trying to figure out what she can keep down and what doesn't upset. He's kicking her ass. My boy.
I want to call her Frodo now. How is it going, Mr. Baggins? Courtney really. Again, like I said, she was a G, man. I don't think she vomited once. She got nauseous here and there, but she didn't really have bad morning sickness. I don't know, man. She did good. Her big thing was like after Ben was born, I remember she like brushed her hair and like this hair because she goes, am I balding? And I was like, you look fine. She's like, I know my hair's gonna thin out after I have the baby, and I was like, you're beautiful. I love you. Whatever.
That's yeah. I'll never be able to understand the post I don't want to be dramatic or speak for women, but in my experience what seems like post baby body dysmorphia, and I'm like, bro, you just rocket shipped our child into this world. Like, your body's beautiful, point blank, period. It doesn't, what your body just did for our family is something my body will never in a million years do.
Yeah, and in an era where, I mean, legit, collagen just is of abundance. Everybody seems to
I got it.
Inject and.
How do you think I got these biceps?
Yeah. Okay. If I ever hear that you actually got like some sort of muscle implant.
No, dude, never.
But like, I mean, seriously, I see a lot of these young ladies and some of them very young, and I don't mean to come off harsh or judgmental. I see a lot of really beautiful young women getting a lot of this stuff done. And I think it is imperative, especially if you have a little girl, is to help build the self-esteem and the awareness. And that is by, like I said, every Friday I get Courtney flowers. Like I am constantly trying to use like real passionate language with her because I know Aubrey's watching.
For sure.
And that's the whole thing is like, I'm like looking at her and I'm going, I don't care that you're as big as a house.
Yeah.
You're as big as a house because you're doing something I can never do.
100%.
And, I think it was Denzel that said this. I wanted to go back to the whole like
Washington?
Yeah. Not that I don't know any other Denzels. I mean, when you look, Denzel is like
Denzel
Shaq.
Curry is a rapper.
Denzel, you know who I'm talking about, is like Shaq. He's like Elvis. He's like Madonna. Like you say Denzel, everybody goes, uh-huh. They know exactly who you're talking about.
This guy confirms.
Well, Denzel Curry ain't got shit on Denzel Washington.
Well, yeah.
But no, he said in an interview, I think he was like, she's the first woman that he falls in love with. And I tried to tell Courtney that. I said, I don't think that the relationship will be better or worse compared to you and Aubrey. It's just going to be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've wanted her to understand that some of the beauty and the grace that I've been given to sit there and be present to watch her experience that. Like, I know I love my son.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But watching her and him, and I get to like sit back and just, because I think sometimes she is a little jealous. I think because I latched onto him so much and we spent so much time together, and he's very much like daddy, 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 daddy.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Sure.
But she's under this impression, like when I left tonight to come here, like, and he's like, Daddy, she's under this impression that's all he ever. And I'm like, sweetheart, you walk out the door, mommy. Yeah. And when he has a bad dream in his crib, you know what he says? I want my mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, take it from a mama's boy.
Yeah.
And there ain't a man on this earth I'm afraid of. But let me skin my knee. I want my mama. 100%. I don't know why that is,
Yeah. I still jokingly, but I need to call my mom, and I do. But I am excited about that for her. And I think she's, now that it's real and official, I don't know what the decimal place % chance of that being wrong actually is. But now that it's real and she's looking at clothes and wolves are my favorite animal, and so we've decided to go with like a wolf themed, wilderness themed nursery.
I just want the most I want the most early 90s wolf like howling at
Howling
a
at the
moon.
Moon t-shirt.
Oh god.
Dude, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna order one and get one for when we go to the hospital. 100%.
You've got to get the.
Don't let me forget.
Oh man, the shirt that I think that's what I've got to find it now that he wears in
Hangover.
Oh yeah, is it a wolf? Is it a?
I think I'm almost positive it's a wolf. He does the whole wolf.
I know.
Now that it's like really setting in, and then there's like, which I love her for this, like, because I was, dude, when Monday was yesterday. So when we found out, like, I texted her like 30 minutes later. I was like, dude, I'm still like shaking with joy. Like I don't think, and so there's part of her that is super excited for me to get to have that. I'm already picturing baseball and golf and, whatever else. And I'm not, don't get mad at me for projecting my child and what he's going to do. Kiss my nose. But, like, dude, I I was a little boy once. I wore backwards hats. I played baseball. I did, like
There was constantly 5 seconds left on the clock for me.
always.
Constantly.
Rest in peace, Kobe. Always the indoor Nerf basketball
MJ.
goals. Well, we won't. But it is, man. I'm pumped. I'm excited for her for some of the things that you had mentioned, and I do think that when he gets here, I'm excited to get to watch her have that experience like I've had with Julia. Because like I'll always tell people,
Will Julia have a birthday before then? Will she be 4? Okay,
she'll be 4. Yeah, so they'll be 4 in a couple months apart. So, and dude, we're gonna tell her tomorrow after her Easter picnic, just kind of intimate, the 3 of us. We're just gonna get some balloons and let her open a box and let the balloons fly out, because we still haven't revisited it since we told her last time, and I think she's gonna be pissed at first because I really think anytime she has brought it up, it's been my baby sister, da da da. But like, also Brielle has a little brother, so like I think she's gonna be like, oh, whatever. But I'm excited for her because, dude, she's such a mother hen. She's such a what is this? She's such a, I want to help. I want to be a part of this. I want to, whenever Chandler or Mia or any of these other, younger kids come over that aren't like that much younger than her, but she big sisses them like crazy. So I think it's going to be cool to watch that. And also, dude, as like a 13, 14-year-old boy, you know what I wanted more than anything? A big sister with hot friends. So
as a little brother to a big sister, of course, my big sister, she was 9 years older than me.
that's...
So, I mean, I wasn't exactly looking at her friends and being like, oh, you're hot.
Yeah.
I was like, will you feed me?
Do you know how to make a grilled cheese?
Yeah. But I will say it is a relationship that it has its challenges because there is, at least for me, I mean, that's a 5-year disparity. I mean, between 4 years and then 9 years.
Yeah.
But we were thick as thieves probably till I was about 6 or 7. And then, at that
She
point,
became
she's
a teenager.
16
She's
and
driving. And
right. And then she left and went to college. And so then I was kind of like an only kid, What was really weird is we did not have much of a relationship for probably almost the next close to 20 years because we had nothing in common. She's getting married and having kids. I'm trying to finish high school.
yeah.
She's working on her master's and her career. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with myself in my 20s, But there are some very specific moments that are near and dear to me that I remember, and that as a little brother, is why I think I hold her so dear, almost like a surrogate mother, because she was like my protector in a lot of ways. We're at Thanksgiving or something, and we're all sitting around, and I don't know how we got there, and I don't know why she decided to tell this story, but she goes, well, yeah, you don't remember the dryer? And I was like, no. She's like, well, yeah, I used to put you in the dryer. And I was like, okay, that's some real OCS stuff.
Explains a lot, though.
Right. She's like, and I started it. And I went, oh, really? Yeah, well, I would just hold the door open and press the little button, and I would watch. And you'd watch, you psycho. But we had those weird, like, you get your younger sibling to go, stick their hand in the thing or something.
Sure.
She just, we had that. And she dressed me up for Halloween. And, I wanted to be like her and her friends because I wanted her. And yeah, man, it's a pretty rad relationship.
Yeah. I'm excited to get to watch it. And I mean, my stepsister's, 12 years older than me. And so, by the time my mom and stepdad got married, she was off doing her own thing. So, while I do have that older sibling, I'm the oldest of two boys that were in the household, so I don't necessarily really know what that's like. But the reason I said, I just, because they'll be, I guess, Julia will be a senior when he's a freshman. And I remember being a freshman and my friends who had hot older sisters and their friends, and I was like, yeah, let's go spend the night at their house.
I will say this also, and also because they will be closer than me and my sister were. Mm-hmm. But from experience, I'm going to tell you, you will be able to rely on his radar. I'm telling you, dude.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Like, real talk. She dated
that.
a couple guys, one of them in which
wow, I
whatever.
never thought about that.
But like, she dated this one dude after that real piece of work. She dated this other guy in like college, or like when she got back from college or whatever. Yeah. And I mean, I remember just being like at 13 being like, this dude's a tool. Like, he's a real douche. And, you kind of like, it's this weird reversal, because I looked at her, like I said, kind of almost being like a latchkey kid, because both parents working late, working long, dad being out of town sometimes, mom working for the state, depending on what time she got home, whatever. And my sister was the one a lot of times that fed me and bathed me and did all that. And so she was my protector. And then what's crazy is then all of a sudden, I'm wanting to take my T-ball bat,
Yeah.
Like I was immediately kind of like, you get a vibe.
That excites me a little bit. I never thought about that in that one time. Like I thought about what you had said of like the surrogate mother thing, and thought about the Julia being, like a second set of mom hands. I never thought about the reverse of him being a second set of dad.
And I would say create a household where he feels comfortable and safe enough to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. That's going back to childhood stuff and me and my dad. But like, had I been in a position where I felt like I could say, hey, this guy makes me uncomfortable. He scares me, whatever.
He's gonna go to prison.
I'm worried about Summer, my sister. I don't know. I don't like this guy with Summer. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny, and why I smile was because the name that we liked for Julia for like the first 4 or 5 months was Summer. It's just funny how all of these things intermingle. But that's what's going on with me, dude. That's what's going on with me. What's going on with you?
Oh.
What do you want to chat about tonight? Anything
I don't know, man. I'm super happy, so I don't really want to chat about anything.
Well, that's cool.
I don't know, man. I went into this weekend really needing to talk. You know what I'm saying? Really get to a place where I could talk and me and Courtney had a bit of a rough go for a minute there. What I don't know what it's like with you and Julia and Jamie, and I don't know what it'll be like with you and Julia and Jamie and Brady.
So crazy, so crazy.
But we got into a routine. There came a point, and I'll go backwards with it, but I'll start with, I sent her a text a week or so ago. It was a picture that I found, popped up in a memory.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it's me and her on the dance floor at a wedding. And it was from 2017. And I said, I miss 2017 us. Well, 2017 us was an 8-year-old Aubrey. Ben wasn't a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
We hadn't even bought our house yet. We were dating, and we were just trying to figure this thing out. We'd been together a year or two, and we were kind of riding our own melt, man. We were kind of just surfing through the cosmos together, and we were passionate. We were constantly making love. We were constantly talking. We were traveling. We were doing all these things. You had a newborn and I mean, then a toddler too, but the whole game switched up, and she decided to go back to school. And not like she was like, I'm going back to school. She considered it, and I pushed her. I was like, yeah, like, I want you to be able to go do this. We have gotten into a place where, to some degree, there was a lot of things about us where we were roommates. Mm-hmm. And I'm not like just talking like in the bedroom, perv. It's hard to look at somebody that you love, like when you love somebody, and I mean when you love them, I mean like love them. Mm-hmm. You know, when I look at Courtney, like I'm leveled. I am legit in awe of the person she is and the person I see her becoming. Mm-hmm. Because as I've said before, and I've stressed it a million times, like who she is and who she is becoming was a trajectory regardless of my presence.
Yeah.
All I did was help fund it a little bit.
Right.
You know? And when you love somebody and you love them like that, and sometimes stresses, work, school, whatever, no work, whatever, you get to feeling like you're not heard.
Yeah.
You get to feeling like you're not appreciated. You get to, and as a man, right? Like
it's all we want.
Well, but it's wild. It is. It is, but not vocally.
Right.
Right. You the first thing that comes to your mind is like, why are you acting like an old bitch?
Right,
You know,
right,
like
exactly.
But that's the truth. We had a bit of a heated discussion, and I was like, I can't be talked to like this. Like I cannot. This don't work for me. Mm-hmm. Which, unfortunately, I think for her, and look, I mean, I get it. It sounds kind of almost like an ultimatum, but it wasn't. It's not how I intended it, but it, you know, it's that immediate like 8th grade relationship. Like, so what are you saying?
Yeah.
Is it over? And I'm like, bro, no, it ain't over. Yeah. No, I said for good and for all. So you need to just accept that. But it did, because for me, it's not about us anymore, you know, and it's, and I don't want to be treated like I'm not appreciated, like I'm kind of emasculated or talked over or whatever. And I don't want to treat her like she's not an equal.
Yeah. That
she isn't stressed or working as hard as I am, or anything that maybe the female species has probably had to endure from this ideology of, you know, second class existence. But the biggest thing I don't want to happen is have that kind of energy and that kind of vibe around our kids.
Yeah.
Because we're in a very, like, for the most part, like, we're done with Aubrey.
Yeah.
I think cognitively they say like you got to like they're 11, I think, at best. Like after that, like you have built everything you can into them, and from that point on, it's them taking all that and shaping it.
Yeah.
Them saying, okay, this experience and this lesson and this thing I got with my mom and dad, now here with technology or with friends or whatever, music, like those influences, all, it's done now. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, so all we are now is we're backup. We're no longer leading the procession. We're no longer setting the path.
Right.
We are now backup. We're there so that when she does have to make a decision, hopefully she calls.
Yeah.
Hopefully she thinks of us. Right. So if we're going back and forth and going at it, what are we teaching her? Mm-hmm. And then we got our son who is starting to be like, you know, if we get loud with each other, he just wants to go, like, and
Yeah.
to some degree, it's kind of good because we look at each other and start laughing. But, yeah, I came into this weekend being like, man, I'm losing her. I'm losing us. You know, and I don't want to say it like in a sense of possession.
Right. No, I get what you're saying.
But I was. And what came out of it too was like, okay, communication, you know, because I don't know if you and Jamie deal with this or if you're like this with Jamie, but there's a lot of things Courtney does not do. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just doesn't do them. And I don't know why. I mean, she should know that I've thought that she needs to do them. And I mean, it's true. Like,
y'all didn't sign the telepathy clause?
Dude, it's like this blank contract in my head, you know, and I'm like,
problem.
right, you know, it's, you know, and I do, this carte blanche of if you want these things, I'm willing to go to these lengths to help support you. But therefore, you need to understand, obviously, and I think you should just pick up on this, that then these things I need as well. And that's not real. We have to communicate. Mm-hmm. And I was real big on family dinner. See, in my household growing up, you and me would get into it, words would get said, things would get thrown, holes would be put in the wall, we'd scatter like roaches into our collective rooms. And then we'd wake up and, all right, see you later. I'm going to school. And nobody talked. So I was real big about like, look, when we moved in together, like with Aubrey and all that, I was like, I want us to have family dinner. If it's just 30, 45 minutes, like let's check in, let's huddle. Let's have this, you know, get together.
Yeah.
And, you know, putting hands on each other and talking and having that intimate transference was special. Now she's a teenager, right? And you feed them rope, you know, you try to instill what you got and you give them your best stuff. And like I said, by 11, 12 years old, you're like, all right, I'm just backup now. But just like, hey, I'm not going to wake you up in the morning. If you can wake yourself up and get on the bus, I'm going to give you that, which has worked for the most part and all that homework. I'm not going to sit there and helicopter you if you keep, you know, flying A's and B's, you know, you start flying F's and D's, we got to talk. So she's kind of retreated to her room now. You know, she wants to go into her room. She's not going to eat what I cook. Whatever. She's going to do her own thing, and she's going to go get on her tablet and her laptop, do some homework, talk with her friends, watch some TV, whatever. But because of that, we have now. She's gone to her room. We're at the dinner table, and then slowly she's gone to her room, and Courtney's at the dinner table, maybe doing some reading, and I'm now watching TV. Now we're just eating on the couch.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and so this weekend I was like, that's got to stop.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first things I said when I got home.
Yeah.
Like, because she asked me, she's like, how was it? I was like, it was really good, yada, yada, yada. But hey, look, and we got more talking to do. And I told her, like, I'm down for therapy. Not because I think our marriage is in trouble.
Yeah.
But like, why? You know, why did Kobe, why did MJ, why did Bert, why did these guys go to the gym an hour early and stay an hour late? If you're this good already, what's it hurt to, you know, what's 1,000 extra swings in the cage?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it was. And I came home and I was like, I love you. I will die for you. I will do everything I can to support you and this family. Not because it's my obligation either, but because I really find it to be a purpose in my life to be around y'all while y'all grow.
Yeah.
I get a front row seat.
Yeah.
I think this would benefit us, and I really want to get back to family dinner. I really do. Because also, look, tomorrow Aubrey's graduating high school. You know, like, she's going to be gone. And then it's like,
This is also very true.
You know, it's like you wake up, dude. I had a memory the other day. And I posted it. It's me and her watching WWE and one of her little favorite people and their little entrance music. And there we are in the living room doing the whole dance thing. And I'm like, that was just last night, man. You know? And no, it was 6 years ago.
It's crazy. We had that was kind of one of the things that we ended up talking about over the weekend also, was just, you know, that and something that a good friend of ours always used to remind me is, you know, the cool part is you got the rest of your lives to argue about this stuff. And I laugh, but it's true, because it's like, you know, I guess I was under this impression,
T-Moten.
like you said, I was under this impression that, like, you know, however many years we've been together at this point, the first time maybe you did something I didn't like or something, not intentionally, but just, and I voiced it, like, you made a mental note and you would never do it again.
Sure.
Same with me. Like, you tell me once, I'm never doing it again, right? Like, that's the amount of times that, you know, and I've been reminded of things and things like that. And that's why, I mean, like, I completely understand, and we have 100% gone through and still go through, you know, roommate phase type things where, and like you said, not just sexually or in the bedroom at all, but just like, these are our administrative duties throughout the day. Like, you know, and I'm not even saying like, you're my secretary, I'm the CEO, give me the notes of what needs to be done. But it is, you just get into this routine and this thing. And, you know, same for us with the family dinner thing. And then, you know, like, you've been to my house, the way that the table is set up, you can see into the living room and you can see the TV. Well, when you're trying to get a 2-year-old to sit down and eat and the TV keeps them there, you leave it on. And you know, and that's one of those things that I was like, I'll never be the tablet parent or well, when okay, you lying to yourself if you don't have kids and you're telling yourself you won't be, because you'll do anything to keep them occupied and keep yourself sane at times. But I feel like just like with the kids, like with Jamie and I, it's a constant, it's a constant discussion. It's constant communication. And I struggle with that. And so does she, but in different ways. Like, it'll take her a while to voice things, or it'll take her a while to figure out what exactly it is that's not sitting well that she needs to voice. And for me, I won't voice it because I just assume you should know by now. And like, it is like, at the end of the day, all I want is to feel respect. I'll never forget, we had this, not like a knockout drag out. We really haven't ever had any knockout drag outs, but just, you know, I remember one time I had come home from doing inspections all day and she was home and she wanted me to hang out with Julia so she could go shower. And in my mind, that was the most disrespectful thing that you could have possibly done. Like, how, you know, I've been crawling in attics all day. It's the middle of the summer. I got insulation and dirt and whatever, mothballs. And I got like, it should have been, hey, do you want to go take a shower? Like, that's what, in my mind, it should have been, you know? And I voiced that probably in that exact way. You know, and then like, all I want, because it is, I'm the same as to what you just said. Like, this is not an obligation because I said I do. This is like a purpose that I want to fulfill. This is an obligation or a duty or an honor that it's a badge that I wear with. Like, I want to provide for you, for Julia, for Brady, which is still so wild to me to hear and say, but like, that's what I want. It's not because it's what the world tells me I'm supposed to do as a dad. I want to it was on my thing this weekend that I wrote out, like, one of my fears, and like, I want to give my family the world in every way possible. I want to be there. I want to be present. I want to be the cheerleader, the supporter, the one you can cry to, the one you can laugh with. I want to go on fun vacations. I want you to get a good education. I want all of that. And in turn, I just want that. I don't want that to go unnoticed. You know, like, I want to feel like the appreciation is given to me, the respect is given to me. Because like, yes, we live in a world today where most people have two working parents, like gone are the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s where, my mom did work as the bookkeeper for my stepdad's company. But for the most part, like her job was to raise us and make sure, and like, unless you're a dude making well into the six figures, it's pretty tough to live like that these days. And so like, yeah, Jamie's got a job and stuff, but I remember at one point she had a different job and she had to be at this office at 7 o'clock in the morning to open the doors, and it was 45 minutes away. And then she wasn't getting off till 5:30, 6, not getting home till 7. And eventually I sat down and I was like, I need a wife. Like, I don't need you to go out and be a breadwinner and work your ass off. And I appreciate that you want to do that, but like, let me do that, And I wasn't necessarily situated to be doing that at that point either, but like, let's not get it twisted for a second. Like, and this is not to say that women or wives or moms are second and men and husbands are first, because we're 100% on a level playing field. We just offer different things. She offers things that I cannot offer and never will be able to offer, and I offer things that she will never be able to offer either. And I know for sure she wants respect and she wants acknowledgement for the things she does that I can't. And in the same breath, that's what I want too. But I've also come to learn that in that roommate stuff, in that busyness and lack thereof communication, those acknowledgments aren't met. That respect isn't given. That, and it's like sometimes I feel like we do need those reminders of like, hey, I'm not going anywhere, but like I'm here and I want to be noted. Like, I want to be recognized. I want to feel like you love me for what I do for us. And I know you want that too. This same person, I remember one time complaining about her not making me feel like a man. You know what his question was to me? What have you done to make her feel like a woman? And I went, that's a really good question. That's not something I've ever thought about, and it's something I feel like I'm trying to get better at thinking about more often, but it's hard, man. It is. I also just, another reason why I made some changes recently, like life got so busy to where it's like, where is our time, and like, where do we get to keep dating and having fun and laughing? I mean, we have a picture in our bathroom from when we went on a beach trip with my dad before we were married, before Julia was born, before all of this life stuff took place. And like, it's not saying we aren't, like you said, 2017 is just a different version of happiness. It's not that any one was better than the other, but it's like, I look at those pictures, I'm like, dude, we were riding jet ski. We just took off and drove to Myrtle Beach for 4 or 5 days, whatever it was. Not a care in the world, rode jet skis, had a good time. And like, yeah, we have incredibly happy times and have made plenty of memories over the last 3.5 years and will continue to make more. But it's like, I don't want our love to go unnourished. I don't want that plant in that garden to be like, that plant still needs sun and water and everything that Julia needs and everything that our family need, like that relationship still needs nurturing,
the whole garden analogy is, they talk about why are the trees so strong, and it's not
roots.
Yeah, it's not what you see up there, it's how they're connected all together,
Yeah.
And I think, in closing, I think probably the biggest thing that I think with me and Courtney is just, I don't care if you're the breadwinner. I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I want to, but and I'm pretty sure part of this is like the psychology that comes with being a mama's boy is, I mean, I want to be patted on the head and told I'm a good, like, seriously, I want to be, I don't need to be fawned over and all that. It's nice to be told, oh, sweetheart, you look sexy today, whatever.
Yeah.
She told me that walking out the door tonight. She was like, oh, look at you. And I was like, yeah,
you
like,
look hot.
Thank you. You too at 43 can have patchy gray in your beard. But no, I mean, she said it's a matter of, it's not your job to make me feel loved or for me to believe that you love me. But I would just, I want, and again, that's that phrasing, I want, but I do. I just want to know that, like, you take an interest in me.
Yeah.
The way you did. Like, when I talk about the way Courtney pursued me, I mean, she had gotten a whiff of blood or something. I mean, she smelled blood in the water. She pursued me. And it was such a nice feeling. It was such a nice feeling to feel like, man, I'm special, like really special to somebody. So, you know, it's like, I don't feel like that sometimes. And I feel like a lot of what I'm doing is just to play the role I've been assigned. And, you know, whatever. I look forward to us because also, you know, here's the deal. I am 43. She is 41, soon to be 42. Like, we do have a toddler and all that, but we have about 20 years left. We have 40 years on average left, but we got about 15 to 20 years to make it work, to, you know, put money away, get ready, because when Ben's gone, here we are at 58,
mid-50s, late
50,
50s.
57, 58 years old. He graduates. If at earliest he moves out. I mean, I graduated 3 days later. I was packing out.
Yeah.
If he were to do the same thing, we are 58 and 56.
Spring chickens.
Very much so. But what kind of life do we have? And what do we have with each other?
Right.
Have we been waiting for that day because we have now figured out that, you know what? We did it for the kids.
Yeah.
I hope that's not it. I don't think it will be, but like that's where my head goes.
Yeah, no, I do the same. I that, you know, you hear people say that, like, you know, if you don't continue to nurture that relationship, continue to pursue each other as husband and wife and whatnot, then you basically have just served an 18-year prison sentence. You know, and like I don't think that that's going to be our case at all, but it is like something that I have to keep it in, not like in the forefront of my mind on a daily basis. Do I wake up and go, pursue her? Maybe I should. I don't know. Baby, tell me if that's what you want. I'll make it happen. But
you've done enough pursuing now. Okay, we got Brady on the way.
Dude, I was pursuing. I think it happened on our anniversary too.
That's what's up. Well,
and with that being said, I'll leave out all the minutia, but it makes sense that it's a boy. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I do want to keep that like in the, because I'm getting to watch it with my mom and my stepdad. We're all gone. Some are kind of making their way back and in and out and whatever, as I was for a very long time too. But like, they're like doing stuff and hanging out, and like much of it is centered around Julia and at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm ready for I'm ready for grandkids, and I'm still got a toddler.
Lord. But it is like, you know, like they go on dates every so often.
Yeah, man.
You know, like, and so like it is cool to like see that flame didn't die out as much shit as we all put them through.
Want to grab the airstream and go from coast to coast.
That's it. Yeah. Well, you know, that's something they would do for sure. But yeah, I you know, I think that I wouldn't want to put up with anyone else's bullshit, and I don't think anyone else is capable of putting up with mine.
Samesies.
So anyway.
So look, point is, no matter who they are and no matter what place they have right now, what role they're playing, do your best. Love them. Let them love you. Love your kids. If you're a dad, if you're a stepdad, if you're a male mentor, do your best. Love them. Let them love you. Doodads Podcast, the Doodads Podcast YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the ding. Hit the like. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram. You can also hear us on Spotify. Go on there and like the episodes. Follow us on Spotify. Also, Dad Gang Company. We have gone ahead and partnered with Dad Gang Company. Check out that stitching, bro. Look, go get you a hat. Go get you a beanie. If you're all about being a dad and you're like proud of being a dad, go get you one. When you're checking out, go to the promo code section, put Doodads 14721. DODADS 14721. Get you 10% off. Get you a hat. And
They have a bunch of don't let this fool you. This plain Jane, black and white. I'm a plain Jane kind of guy. They got
truckers, flat
Buku
bills,
colors.
yeah, beanies. Just, I mean, it's quality product, man. And again, get you 10% off, get you a hat, and tell everybody about the doodads. Yeah, man, love you, brother.
Love you too.
Congrats.
Have a good week.
You too.